Pop to the next one.
Got it.
So the first pillar, like Cliff had mentioned, there are six. The first one we're going to talk about here is nutrition. We're going to talk about the plate method. So with the plate method, this is how we can create balance in our meals. We can work on our portion control, focusing on eating whole foods and reducing anything processed. So as you can see from the photo here, the plate method, you're looking at about half your plate is non-starchy veggies, a quarter of your plate being a lean protein, the remaining quarter being some starchy carbs. And then just being mindful, as you can see on the side with the avocado and the oil, those healthy fats. Having mostly whole foods will allow you to intake more vitamins, minerals, fiber, and that'll help your overall energy just stay more even. You won't have a bunch of dips and crashes. So taking that into effect, kind of think that through on on page 2 of your workbook. Again, we are doing that A through F. Just don't overthink it. Probably the first letter pops in your head's probably the right one. So mark that down on your workbook.
I was waiting for you, Tony.
Our next one we're talking about is stress management and mindset. How are you managing stress? So, as we all know, we all get kind of acute stress, which is okay for your body, but chronic stress is not good. It impairs your immune system, it increases your risk of chronic disease, and causes you to have a harder time with weight loss. So, cortisol is your body's stress hormone, and when it gets high, it makes it harder for your body to lose weight and causes it to store more fat. So self-care is a big thing that we talk about here with stress management, and that's taking the power back, making sure that we pause for a little bit each day to pay attention to yourself instead of just burning up and running on fumes 24/7. So if you have stress in your life, how do you manage it? Are you practicing positive affirmations? Are you taking intentional quiet time each day? Or do you have any kind of mindful stress management techniques? Again, rate that A through F on your workbook. Our next pillar is sleep. This is for optimal health, especially our hormone health, which helps you reset when you are asleep, helps you build muscle, store energy, and promotes weight loss. So, research has shown 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night is about the baseline you should have. But did you know about 35% of adults report getting less than 7 a night? So rate your sleep A through F with that 7 to 8 hours kind of being your benchmark. Our next pillar is exercise. So it is recommended to get 30 minutes of daily movement a day. So I know there are some people in here that are in our gym, some people that may not have a gym membership. Even going and taking a 15-minute walk after dinner, after lunch, can significantly help improve blood sugar levels. Again, staying away from that big high and crash. So taking a walk outside offers great benefits. There's a ton of research about nature therapy, being outside, the advantages, and you can use that to your advantage to kind of break up that movement throughout the day. Especially, we're in Iowa right now, mornings are cold, afternoons aren't as bad. You can break it up throughout your day. And then from there, adding in strength training at least 3 times a week is a good place to start. So in Dr. Gabrielle Lyon's book, Forever Strong, she discusses that we don't have an obesity problem, but a lack of muscle problem. People aren't getting enough protein throughout the day, and they're not building muscle, which is an increase their risk for chronic disease as we age. Again, just take a quick thought of how you are doing with this, A through F, and we'll go on to the next. So our next pillar we're going to talk about is a support system. So your support system is a huge piece of your puzzle. Research shows we are the average of the five people we spend the most time with. So who are those five people for you? In your workbook, there's a spot right underneath all those A through F's for this. Write that down, and we're going to do a little activity. So imagine you're a crab, and you've been captured and placed in a bucket. The only way to get out is to crawl out of the bucket. You escape and continue on your journey. A week goes by. You've been captured again. You're put in that bucket with a bunch of other crabs. As you're trying to climb out, those crabs are pulling you back into that bucket. If they can't escape, why should you?
Mm.
Why should you experience success if no one else has? Now think about the five people that are closest to you. Are they pulling you back into that bucket? Are they pulling you down? Or are they affecting you in a different way? Take a couple of minutes this time. This one's a little more to think about. We'll keep going, but think about this one. Again, rate that A through F and write down your five people in your workbook.
You want to give folks a couple more seconds on that one for the
Yep,
names?
yep. All right, our lifestyle, next pillar. Lifestyle includes our extracurricular activities, our alcohol consumption, daily choices, and our social gatherings that we go to. So here's an example. The ultimate goal is to make healthy choices easy. You can navigate barriers, for instance, if there are cookies in your house or on the counter, it's really easy to mindlessly grab them, which is why they don't last long in my house. But if you have healthy snacks sitting there, pre-cut vegetables, maybe some kind of seaweed treat, which I actually was just munching on before this call, that's why it's on my mind. You're more likely to grab those if they're sitting there, right? It's the same thing. It's that if we do mindlessly snack, we can have a healthier option. And it's just have that healthy option. And bleh, you will show up for your accountability partner at the gym. So find somebody for that as well. Again, rating A through F in your workbook on this one. So, a healthy lifestyle can lead to 9 additional years free of chronic disease. So, research has shown that a healthy lifestyle can bring that up to 9 years. So, when there's 60% of our population that currently has chronic disease, that allows you to get those years back. Typically, those final years are retirement, and you want to live them free of those chronic diseases. So, what are the biggest contributions to the research that I'm referring to? So, our BMI with our health and weight, our activity, that 30 minutes a day, alcohol consumption, because that impacts our sleep, and smoking. It also prioritizes sleep, stress management, and our support systems. We want to make a healthy way of life using the holistic approach. All of these things influence that. They all influence each other. We go through seasons where we focus on one more than the other. So take a moment to think about the 6 areas we just went over and how you're doing. Which one of these pillars are you doing really good in? What are some daily actions that can bring yourself in line with what you want for yourself? And which do you need the most help with? And with that, I'm going to swing it over to Coach Jule for the next portion.
All right. Thanks, Tony, and thanks everybody for being on the call and taking time out of your evening to be with us. So I'm gonna keep continuing off the momentum here, and I'm gonna talk about step 2. So take a look at your self-assessment and see what's standing out for you. What's one thing out of all those things that you really want to focus on? Okay. So Most people feel overwhelmed because there's so much information out there. I think we can all attest to that. A habit-based approach is so much more effective. In today's world, we want instant results. We want to do everything to the extreme, like implement 75 things for 75 days, for example. We go all in and then all out, skipping a bunch of steps along the way, and then we end up right back where we left off. So, did you know that habits are patterns of behavior that we've ingrained to the point that they are automatic responses? They happen consistently in certain situations or contexts and are mostly below our level of awareness. And that's from a nutrition course, CrossFit nutrition course. So 40% of our daily actions are automatic. I would venture to say that for many people, though, that 40% is not serving you and what you want for your health and your wellness goals. Your habits become your routine, and our routine becomes our lifestyle. Are your habits helping move you towards or away from your goals? For most of us, we have really good intentions, but there's roadblocks, there's temptations, or there's things that naturally get in the way. So think about building a house. Is it built on a solid foundation? Are workers, laying brick by brick to make an amazing house? The same thing goes for your life. Your daily habits are your life. Slowing down and focusing on one thing will speed up your progress. Think about the last time you tried to lose weight or diet. How many things did you try simultaneously? Probably a lot. Instead, you need to focus truly on just one thing at a time. And then step 3, find your tribe. We say this a lot in our community. So you should have your 5 people, but you should also have a tribe that you can connect with through a common thread, whether that's nutrition or health and wellness or any other kind of group. There's so many options, such as connecting with those who are ahead of you in your health and wellness journey. You should always have someone who is one step ahead of you and someone you can confide in and learn from. Why reinvent the wheel? Why don't you align yourself with someone who is many steps ahead of you so you can fast track your progress? Reach your health and wellness goals much faster with someone by your side. We need a coach or a mentor who can help us make a change fast to help us get there sooner. All of us can use this. And then we need the cheerleaders to support you and encourage you. And we also need some students to learn from you. So take a second. Who's in your tribe? And ultimately, why is that important to you? Why are you wanting to make a change? Why now? And you need to be able to tell them why and how they can support you on this journey. So now that we've the 3 steps to reset your health, let's shift our focus to the 3 core principles. Number 1, focus on whole foods first. We should start choosing whole food options and less processed foods packed with sodium, fat, and sugar, and definitely hidden in there, I'm sure. A simple way to do this is by reshaping your plate using the plate method. Number 2, focus on a balance of macronutrients. When we say balance, we mean does every meal and snack you consume throughout the day contain carbs, contain protein, contain fat? Pairing each meal and snack with all 3 of those macronutrients will keep you fuller for longer. I guarantee it. Most people will feel their best while fueling their busy days and activities with 40% carbs, 30% fat, and 30% protein. Please note that individual breakdowns may vary depending on your activity level and your goals. And number 3, limit the number of processed carbs and sugar. The AHA recommends no more than 6 teaspoons, about 24 grams for women and 9 for men. That's about 36 grams, if you will. The average person consumes over 150 pounds of sugar annually. That's 46 teaspoons daily. So that's like if you ate me in sugar. That's super weird to think about. But if you ate a whole person in sugar a year, that's about the average of what people are eating. It's not surprising. Sugar is super addicting and it feels hidden in almost every food product you find in a package. So, what was your biggest takeaway? And from here, I'm going to shoot it back over to Cliff. As we wrap up, I would like for you to take a moment or two to reflect on everything we went over today. So, which tip stood out to you the most? Share your thoughts and our takeaways, and feel free to throw those in the chat. We'd love to hear them. Back to you, Mr. Cliff.
Yep. So thanks, Jule. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, so go ahead and drop in the chat your one biggest takeaway. And if you don't, we're just going to start calling names. People start dropping off the call.
Don't threaten the people. Keep them engaged.
Jen, you've done the challenge. What was one of the like your biggest takeaways? Oh, you just typed it. She's out of it. Jen says finding her tribe. Jen, why is that important to you?
Accountability. I mean, and that tribe is family, friends, all of you guys in the gym, all the coaches. Never really had that before in a gym lifestyle. So it's amazing. I haven't even been with you guys a year, and I feel like I've known you guys all my life. I wish I'd have met you that much longer ago. So I think
I
that's
was I
huge.
was I was thinking about that earlier. It hasn't been quite a year.
I think July.
Okay,
So yeah.
excellent. Thanks, Jen. Let's see. Becky is talking about the plate method. Yeah, super simple, very effective. Jake, can you talk a little bit more about each meal and or snacking hitting all the important nutrition areas? Jake, so Tony mentioned about the macro breakdown. So the three main macronutrients being protein, carbs, and fat. So it's making sure that there's a balance of those in each of your meals and each of your snacks. So like a good example would be like hard-boiled egg, an apple, and well, I guess an egg has protein and fat in it. So that in and of itself would be a balanced snack, and you could throw some celery sticks or something to make some green in there. But really, it goes back to the plate method. So half of the plate with green veggies, a quarter of the plate with the starchy carbs, and then a quarter of the plate with the protein. And then you just kind of size that up or down for snacks. Does that answer your question, Jake?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of times we tend to make things like we as in people tend to try and make things super difficult, like, oh, we got to have this balance, like this and these supplements and that. Like there's like we talked about this morning, Jake, there's a time and a place for supplements. But really going back to these principles, the three principles, focus on whole foods first, you'll be successful.
Sure. It's just like a lot of times everything has a number. Get this much of this every day. And I
Yeah.
guess it seems like you're saying the best way to do that is spread it out throughout each meal instead of just accomplishing a bunch of.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I follow you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You bet. They got some more Robin talking about the tribe for sure. Okay. So yeah, feel free to keep dropping them in there if you have them. I'm going to move on. I got a couple more slides before we wrap up. Let me get my bearings here. Okay. So just talking a little bit about our nutrition program at Five Seasons CrossFit or Five Seasons Nutrition. We did talk about it a little bit earlier about our foundation of being through Healthy Steps Nutrition. But before we kind of get into the coaching details, we'd be remiss to not talk about frequently asked questions. So, first question that we get commonly gets asked is, why should I focus on one habit at a time? How about two, three, four, 75? What kind of things are we focusing on? Well, of course there's been studies on these types of things, and the studies show that by focusing on one habit at a time, over the course of a year, you the statistic is you'll have an 80% success rate to keeping with that habit. When you layer on a second habit, that number drops to less than 30%. And when you drop another habit on that, that drops to less than 5%. So the numbers are crazy. Sometimes us as nutrition coaches, people might be like, well, I want to try this. I want to do that. I want to do this thing. We'll be the bad guys and tell you we're not going to do that until you make this a habit. Okay. Um, there's a lot of analogies which I don't have time to share, but you get the habit ingrained, and then you stack on the next one. You get that ingrained, you stack on the next habit. So that's why we do that, because it works. Um, the scale isn't everything. So, hey, I've been doing this for a month, 2 months, 3 months. The numbers really aren't changing. The scale only measures one thing, and that's weight. Um, at 5 seasons, we actually do have a body composition analyzer and in-body scan. Those who did the challenge have done that. Those who haven't, we do have one for our use. That does measure things like your total body fat as well as your skeletal muscle mass. So through our nutrition program, we have that available to our clients. But there's other things. You might have heard non-scale victories. So maybe your numbers aren't quite where you want to be, but wow, I've got a lot more energy, or I'm able to play with my kids, or my mood has improved. I'm sleeping better. My clothes are fitting better. These are all non-scale victories that occur when changing your holistic approach. And then here are some of our fantastic friends who went through the nutrition challenge with us. Um, Nora was one that we highlighted here last week, and we're in the works of, we've got many of folks to do this for, so we're just on our journey here. But just to highlight Nora for a hot second, Nora was able to drop 4% body fat, lose 8 pounds and about 5.5 inches overall in a very short amount of time, 28 days. But what's even more impressive, or as impressive, is her increased strength, or increased endurance and confidence. And it's just been fantastic as a coach's group, or even as a peer, just seeing her develop over time. It's been fantastic. If you are well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We do have a bunch for those of you that are not 5 seasons members, these our fitness program works, as well as our nutrition program. We've got a ton of reviews on Google if you want to go check out these fantastic reviews. Don't just, listen to Jule, Tony, and I spew about how awesome our programs are. And then if you are a podcast junkie like myself, the Healthy Steps Nutrition program does have their own podcast, Nutrition Made Simple. So if you're looking to hear some success stories and how their successes can help you with your success in the future, go ahead and take a listen there. They're pretty short, fun little podcasts to listen through or listen to. And then finally, if you are wanting to kickstart your health and wellness journey, we are certainly here to help you with that. And here's what our program would look like from a nutrition coaching standpoint. You would work with a nutrition coach to create your plan. We check in with you weekly to help make sure that you're keeping track to your plan. And then we'll discuss progress and tweak kind of as we go through the weeks and the months. And really, what I feel the value of the program is that accountability piece. Because a lot of times, I'm including myself in this, where if I don't have somebody like, hey, Cliff, how's it going on that goal? And if I just have that to myself, like, I can only hold myself so accountable, but with somebody external to myself, kind of helping you with the goal, helping you create new goals and pushing you to achieve things that you had no idea that you thought you could do. The the coach really helps you along that journey. So if you are interested, we do have a free introduction call. We'll basically do an assessment and then talk about, what avenues could be best for you, and that's completely free. You can scan the QR code here on the screen, or you can copy the link, and I will drop that in the chat right now. So that is all that we have for you today. I know we went a little bit over time. We do have a couple minutes. Were there any last minute questions?
I guess I have a question, Cliff, or whoever wants to. What's can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No. Oh, okay. What's the how do you guys do that if you decide, okay, I'll be in this program or want to have coaching?
Yeah.
Is like the duration a month? And what's the cost, or does it go, what, can you describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the duration is kind of person dependent, depends on kind of what your goals are as well. Typically the shorter range would be like 1 to 3 months. And then it kind of just depends. Hey, I've got this goal. Let's say, I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to run this marathon, or I have some like BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, like that could be a little bit longer. And then, so it's on a monthly basis. So you would touch base, month by month and be like, okay, like I've got to the point where I want it to be. And then, we're on maintenance mode at that point in time. So, and then, yeah, if you're interested, and I can put some of this stuff in like a follow-up email as well about the different types of programs that we do have. Or if you want that free assessment, Becky, Nikki's eager and waiting to do some assessments. Other questions?
Will you be doing future challenges like we did a month or so ago?
Yep, we're gonna try to do those about twice a year. So basically January and then July. Yep.
Sure. Good.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. That sleep pillar is coming up on us pretty quick, so time to hit up that wind down routine, everyone. Especially for us 5 and 6 a.m.ers. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a
Thank you,
great night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.